Welcome to the Soul Awakenings Inner Circle with your host, multidimensional channel, and intuitive healer for your soul, Gabrielle Spencer.
Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Gabrielle Spencer. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, I am a multidimensional intuitive channel. I host this in order to assist all of us to receive the information, the knowledge, and the skills, the clearing, all of those things that we need in order to assist us in our own soul's ascension and why we're here. Many people know they're here for a reason, but they aren't sure exactly what it is or how to make that come to fruition. And we're in desperately trying times at the moment for many people. And this show is here, and I am here tonight to assist you clearing, getting information to help you take advantage of the energies that are being brought in, transmitted to all of us. That's what is happening at this time. But there's a lot of confusion about how and what you're to do while they're feeling chaotic and a little bit like too much. So, as an intuitive healer and channel, I connect with the golden beings of light, which are 12th dimensional beings, and they are here to assist us to move faster and to provide us with the information we need so that we can do things with less struggle and less difficulty. And that's a really big thing, as most of us will say we struggle and we're having a difficult time physically, our physical bodies are having a difficult time, and emotionally. So if you've noticed in all that's happening in our crazy pandemic issues around the world, it's bringing up a lot of things for a lot of people. And my plans and goals for today are to get to you and to provide you with healing and soul readings so that we can see and help you to reconcile or release or what needs to be done for you so that you can move through the soul level or heart level disconnection or separation that you're experiencing. We know that we are multidimensional beings. And while we know this, we may or may not understand exactly how that applies to us here in the third dimension. So I want to talk tonight about this really amazing next step and putting it all into perspective so that you can get the understanding that you need in both the practical human way and in the spiritual way, because it makes it easier for people to move forward in their lives when they understand things. And even though we know we can't know everything, because we don't, it's nice to have an idea and some stability in just understanding where we're heading, right? So this is called the 4 phases of awakening to ascension. And the reason that it is called this is because for each one of us, we come here asleep. And when we are asleep, we have to awaken. So the first phase is that awakening, understanding that you are here to wake up to your spirituality, to your own inner power, and your own soul's purpose. But in phase 1, it's about discovery, awakening ourselves and realizing, oh, hey, wait, there's more to me than just being a human and just living here in the third dimension. And that's a very exciting time to awaken self. That's really what it is, awakening self and realizing, hey, there's a whole lot more. Well, that's the first phase. And for a lot of people, getting to that place is a big deal. And right now, in what is happening in the crisis, the pandemic, it is awakening a lot of people to, oh, wait, there must be something more. And I need to figure out what that is and what that looks like and how to get there. So that's the first piece. But at the same time, this same pandemic is operating on other levels for those of us that are in other phases of our awakening. So phase 2 is when you begin to realize, there's more to this. And in order for me to get where I know I need to go, I have to start clearing myself. So this phase is known as the purification phase of awakening. And it's the time when we begin to realize fear is really controlling us on every level, and it keeps us from truly advancing and raising our vibration. So that soul level is not reached necessarily from this phase 2, because we're dealing with the lower frequency fears that have traveled with us and were created throughout our multidimensional existences. Okay, so this phase, I'm calling it the fear phase, but it is actually the purification of self. But it's purification of fears and all those things that limit us and keep us in the belief that we are disconnected and we are alone and we are abandoned, and stress and worry and anxiety is really the ruler of our day and keeps us locked into what it is that we are experiencing. So when we realize this stage, it's kind of like, wow, well, how do I get out of this? And how much more clearing do I have? I hear that a lot, and I'm sure many of you have thought it or felt it as you've gone along your own journey. But you are going along your own journey in order to reach your next phase, which is the illumination of self. And this is when you actually step into that higher vibrational self. So you will begin to be operating from your heart level. That is it. It's heart illumination. It's when you are operating from more of a heart, spirit, mind, higher self, soul connection, is as you've reached into this third phase. So it's the illumination of self. It's very important to get to this third phase, because as you can see, the more of us that do, then we are able to use light to create our reality and to create what it is that we are wanting and what we are needing to be. Because we're all here as masters of light. But it is in this awakening process that we get to phase 4, which is the oneness of self, self-realization. It's when you step back into your mastery of light. So this is the process, and we are all moving into it. And the more of us that move through that phase 2 especially, we're then able to help others through our own light and what we know and what we have embodied. We're then able to help others to do the same. And then we get into that third phase. So we're all working on that higher second phase, right? Releasing the fears. And this pandemic is creating the environment that for a lot of us, our deepest fears on a cellular level, on a soul's consciousness level, are coming up for us. And this will shift a lot of us to our third phase of awakening, which is when we are fully connecting and working through more of an illumination process, regaining more of our abilities and our gifts, and being able to truly start seeing the effects of being one. And as we're doing this, we're moving to phase 4. So it's not that everything is strictly linear, right? We all know this, but it's in general, this is how the phases of awakening work. So Deborah says, I feel like the onion in the universe. So many layers to clear. But this is the most important part, Deborah, is that we're moving through this phase 2, and many of us are at that top level of phase 2. So it means that we're being awakened and we're being kicked in the butt to move to phase 3. It's like, okay, you've been in phase 2 long enough. Now you need to move through the major portions of your fears, these deeper fears. It's not It's not things that are even going to readily come to your mind. It's because they're on a multidimensional heart and soul level. Betrayals and distrust and mistrust and areas where we no longer feel supported by source or by universal energy. And so that's where the disconnection lies. So that's a big one. It keeps us from moving into that illumination portion. So I know that some of you might be feeling like you're partly in 3 and you're a little bit still in 2, and that's very possible too. It doesn't mean that you're all in one or the other. You can be like a bridge, like we're doing now, between third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension. So what is happening in the world is we're all being given the opportunity to shed what no longer serves us, and that we must embody through our own clearing and cleansing of our fears and the things that keep us from being fully connected within ourselves to our own soul and to source, that those things are needing to be cleared out so we can all move into that third phase, which is the illumination of self. This is when our high heart is fully open and we are connecting with the light as much as possible. And when I mean fully open, we're going to talk about fully open for the third phase, right? I think that this process continues, that we continually expand. And as we merge within ourselves, with our light bodies and with our soul, that expansion increases. And that's how we increase our vibration. And it is all about moving into the 5D. So what I have come to understand is that as we're moving along, it is necessary for us all to get into that high 2 to the 3 phase in order to help move the planet and us physically into the 4D. And then, interestingly enough, moving into the 5D as we all are moving into the 4th phase, which is when we're stepping into our mastery of light. And this is what all of us have come here to do. This is our purpose. How we get there is unique to each one of us. Does that make sense to everyone? So this is my practical explanation of our awakening journey and what it means to continually awaken and move to higher and higher vibration. It's an amazing process, and it becomes way more interesting and exciting once we move through that phase 2 part. Okay, it's when we really start to understand that miracles is just energy, and it's just your ability to be clear and not falling back into phase 2 of fear, if that makes sense to everyone. Okay, so I want you all to know that this group process today is going to be to assist each one of you to find out where you are, and or to help you move through where you are currently feeling stuck and that you're not following your soul's purpose to the energetic that you need to. It tells us that for each one of us, there's going to be areas that are really coming up for you right now, because that's what the energetic is all about. It's about clearing out all these blockages that are keeping you from being able to move to that next phase for you. So each one of you can close your eyes and roll them up toward your eyebrows, taking your 3 deep breaths, allowing your brain to go into theta, and asking, where am I? Now this is just between you and your higher self. There are no badges or awards we give, right? This is about us getting a true understanding of where we are in our own awakening process. We are still human, and we are meant to be here as human, operating at that higher vibration. We are here for a mission. Our mission is to bring this, where we are, into a higher vibration. And as we do that, we will all know when we've arrived, right? What I know, and was asked earlier on a show I did today, was how will we know? And I said, because we will all be there together, and we will know when we've hit that critical mass, because we won't be talking about fears anymore. we'll be talking about how we reach greater mass for heart illumination and self-illumination and mastery of light. We will know that we have crossed this threshold, as well as that the planet is needing to cross this threshold too. And we are going to be going through other difficult times. This is not the only one. So if that causes you fear, that's what we want to dig out. What does that mean to you? What is coming in for you that causes greater fear, to know that we're going to have other difficult times, and perhaps more difficult than what we're going through right now? Our job as masters of light and light workers, you may have heard me say, it's time for our transformation from light worker to master of light. This is what it means to move into that fourth phase, that third and fourth phase. And so as we're doing this, we are using our own light and our own abilities to heal others, to allow the light to do its thing, that we're the beacons of light, and that we're offering our own light to assist however it needs to. And also to be aware and using our intention for that, the side of dark, which is still here on this third dimensional plane, to also perhaps be, my new word, quarantined as well, so that they're not influencing and affecting things to go in a direction that we know that we're here to keep from happening. So we have a lot of jobs as far as light workers go, as far as masters of light go. And for each one of us, the way to do that effectively is to clear and heal and reconcile that phase 2 of awakening within us, all the fears, the hurts, the pains, the traumas, and the issues that are keeping us from stepping into our own power from within. So when you hear these things being said out there, that it's all about your power within, this is what we're talking about. We are talking about becoming clear within your own high heart, within your emotional body, within your heart's consciousness and your soul's consciousness, so you can be this beacon of light. And it is from this energetic of being able to be a vessel of light that you are then able to create and influence what is happening around you and within your own life. So the idea here is, what you want to see on the outside, what you want to create on the outside must be created on the inside first. Okay. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what I wanted to offer to everyone today. Assist you to find what it is that you may be going through that needs clearing, so that you can download what you're needing to download, and what you're able to shift, what needs to be shifted. Because for each one of us, it's not going to be necessarily like a group activation. It's something very particular that your soul has to clear, that you have to reconcile on a higher dimensional existence or plane that is totally yours. And each one of us, as old and ancient souls, know that we have many things that have occurred, even if we don't know exactly what they are. It's not about knowing, it's about providing the frequencies that are out of order, that are disconnected, that are broken, that are missing. There are many things that have occurred to us, and we are operating from, for lack of a better word, a broken place, versus being in complete harmony within ourselves and our connection all the way up to our soul. So let me know what that feels like to all of you. And I want to begin by taking calls so we can get to as many as possible. Andrea says procrastination. Yes, I think I have a whole show on that. Kat says shame. So these are great things for level 2, where we are in your phase of awakening. Disconnection from money. So I had this discussion today about money. The way that our third dimension is set up is to believe that money is power, and it is what we use, and that's fine. But when we shift the fear of money and all that it creates, good, bad, and otherwise, what happens is you then move into an energetic where money is just a tool and that it comes in just as it needs to. I was sharing a story earlier today about this, that in early March, I finally got the real hit to go ahead and order myself a freeze dryer. And I hadn't done it in the past because, well, it's expensive and I didn't really need it, and et cetera, et cetera. But in early March, before all this crazy got started, it was go ahead and order it. And I decided, okay, I can do that. I'm going to figure out a finance plan and et cetera. And that's how I decided to move forward. But I just knew that regardless, I was going to do it because I really felt strongly that I was getting the hit to do that. So before all this pandemic really got started, before now the new information about food and all these other things, I already had it ordered, and at that time it was actually on back order. So the story is I didn't worry about money. I just asked for the terms that I could afford and that I could do, and the company was fine with that. And so then what happened was I got my freeze dryer, and then sale of property happened, and suddenly the money is there. But 2 months after I committed to purchasing. So the reason I share this story is because money only has the power over you that you allow it to. What are you allowing it to stop you to do? And is there another way? And asking the universe what it is that you need to do for your soul's mission, not to get money. Does everybody understand the difference? Okay, so Stacy says, yes, what you're saying resonates and well communicated. Thank you, Stacy. What if you're not sure what the block is? Exactly. This is what we're talking about, why we're going to tap into you on a soul level to look for the deeper block, the deeper issue that created the separation. Because for old souls, many times it's not just poverty consciousness. It's that in general, we also have martyr complexes running, right? We have this idea of service to humanity means it's free, or that you have to give to your own failing, because that's what you're here to do, is to serve. Okay, so Jacqueline says, I don't understand your last statement about money. And Alexander says, I know there are times I let money drive my choice. And that's exactly what I mean by that last statement, Jacqueline. Thank you, Alexander. That's it. It's that we allow money to be the limiter. And we put things on it like we don't understand that a limit sometimes begets more limits. Okay, so we'll say, well, I don't have the money, so I'm not going to do it until A, B, and C are met, and then I'm going to. Even though inside you know you're supposed to. See, this is a really big part of our transformation as we move through these phases of awakening. So as you gain this illumination, as you're working through that second level, you're gaining more connection and higher vibration. And so you're able to connect with your own intuition. And that intuition is not gut intuition, which is fear-based, but rather it's going to be higher self intuition, where your higher self is dropping the information for you to pick up, okay? So as you do that, you start to follow that heart-led intuition that comes from your higher self, regardless of the things your mind knows are the issues staring you in the face. Doesn't mean that you ignore things. It means that when you feel that push, that you honor yourself and you follow it, and you're not spending your energy on worrying or trying to figure out how to make things work, versus you stay in the alignment and knowing and trusting that everything has its time. And as long as you're staying connected and listening and following your higher intuition, it all will come to fruition, but it takes your action and your connection. And so when we're talking about these phases of awakening, what we're talking about is strengthening that connection, strengthening your ability to hold light, be light, and what I like to think of as sharing light, but it means that wherever you're putting your intention, the light is just going there. Not because I'm sending it, it's because I'm merging with light. And the more light that I'm merging with, the more, let's call it power, that I have to use to assist me in what it is that is in my soul's aligned best good. Does that make sense? Yes, it's very, very good question, Iona. So Iona says, how to clear our personal fears and traumas and stop picking up more fears and lower emotions from the collective consciousness. That's right. It's a mass consciousness. Our mass consciousness is based on fear. That's the third dimensional programming, survival programming, security, survival, stability. And you can see that for a lot of us right now, our own sovereignty is under attack in that we are being told, and the mass consciousness and collective is being told, that they need to be secure, and they need to be worried about dying, and they need to be worried about being sick, and they need to be worried about all of these things. And that's what's going around in the mass consciousness. And so yes, it is being picked up. And my suggestion is, what is it triggering within you? And if you are releasing that, then it is about then shielding with light and also beaming light, just making it your intention to beam light to all those that are feeling those emotions that are being triggered within you, because you know then that that's what is needing to be cleared for the collective. Does this? So Elizabeth says, I recently got in touch with a limiting money belief that is money in itself denotes dependency on others, things outside of myself. Sovereignty means to me to be able to call forth into form anything I require through source, like the masters demonstrated. So money has a symbol of weakness, limitations to me in light of the sovereignty. Appreciate your response. Okay, so that's what I've been saying in a way, Elizabeth. Make the one next leap to money is just a tool. It's just energy. It's just energy. It's not bad. It's not good. It's nothing. Those bad and good and all that we assign to it is based on our own beliefs and our own limitations and our own fears. Rather, in this third dimension, money is part of the protocol of the system, how it's set up, where spirituality and practicality and 3D humanness sort of separate, is that we're separate. We don't bring it together to where we realize that money, just like eating food and all of those things, is part of our existence, right? And as long as we are in alignment, then everything is provided through source, whether it's a home or a car or a job or money or loves of our life or family, children. All of those things are through source. And the more that we are connected from within, the more then we are able to create what it is that we're wanting from within to the outside. Okay, so it's internal to external, not external to internal. And that's the separation for people, everyone in general. And we have to work through that it's really about what's going on the inside, whether it's you and I are trading in shells or dollars, it doesn't matter. It's still energy. So as you raise your vibration, you will realize that the separation was our beliefs that money is bad, or I don't have enough, or I need more, or I can't afford that, or those issues is generally what comes up. But what it's really about is trust and knowing and understanding that when you are in alignment, and this doesn't mean, oh my God, I really want a red Corvette and I'm not getting it, or I don't have the money. What I'm talking about is that your desires are in alignment with what is in your highest and best good. My suggestion to each one of you is to go within yourself, as I said, connect to your higher self and ask what it is that you need to do, and ask what it is that's your next step. So for me, I'm preparing on the practical 3D human level, and I'm doing the spiritual work so that I can stay clear, so that I can heal what comes up for me as I'm being triggered. Because I know that as I clear it for myself, humanity will also benefit as we're all one, and the ripple effect is, the butterfly effect, as they say. So for each one of us, it's about what is it that we need to have that stability and security. So I was asked today, well, what happens if I just lost my job? The first question that you're asking your higher self after you have the emotions, please don't forget you are human, and we're meant to be human and to learn to exist in this plane as a highest level vibration human that we can be, okay? So as we're doing that, if you end up in that position where right now your stability has been pulled out from under you, then your response is to ask your higher self, what is it that you need to do to bring to yourself, not a job and not money, but your next step on your soul's path to awakening? Because as you do that, it's going to be the fastest way to clearing out the layers. So you're not working on all these extraneous layers that actually aren't getting you anywhere. And that happens too. Somebody wrote earlier about just continually always having to clear. And that's because you're working on things that your mind thinks is important, but actually it's all about what your higher self is guiding you to do to clear and be in alignment with your soul's path and your soul's destiny. And I will share too here that there's not one destiny, there's not one path, and you're not limited as you begin to raise your vibration and move through that second awakening of purification, and you're moving into that third, which is the heart illumination and soul illumination phase. Then what happens is you are not attached to all of these things that happen. It just naturally is this way. You're not pretending. It just is. And so when you get there, you realize, oh, wow, I have all these other opportunities. So when it's first happening and you're in that phase where it's creating fear and instability and keeping you from having that trust within yourself, that's what you're working on. But you're asking, show me what I need to work on, what I need out of this, and then provide for me the opportunities I need to feed myself, clothe, etc. But it's about what is it you're to learn. For a lot of people, what is happening right now, and probably will continue to happen, is, we all joke about the spiritual 2x4, but the truth is that all of us have to be kicked out of our comfort zone in order to shift into the next phase of our awakening. It gets very comfortable, right? We know how to operate, we know how things work, and we have our workarounds. So what we want for all of us is to move through what our third dimensional mass consciousness programming tells us are the issues, and ask for what the soul needs to clear so that it can bring all aspects of yourself together and merge.
And now it's time to take some soul awakening healing calls.
Melissa.
You
There
know,
she is.
okay.
There she is.
Okay, that's fine. No, yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of things have been moving, a lot of triggers around different things, and a lot of, betrayal and things like that have been really, really, really big. That's like a huge one in this lifetime, and I guess, I'm sure it was before, but I assumed that what I was to get from that was that basically I've been betrayed by every single individual who's come into my life so far, including my family. So that means probably that
Okay, let me tell you what I hear.
Huge level, right? I don't want to be.
Here's the soul level question.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So I want you just to close your eyes. So for everybody, another really big one for all of us that nobody wants to talk about because it sounds awful, right? But when we're doing this work, remember, we don't know exactly all of the avenues that created the situation. I mean, just think about something in your current life and you think to yourself, when you're trying to tell it to a friend, right? There's only so many parts of it that you understand, because other people are involved and they have their own agendas, et cetera, right? So we don't know all of the facets of what creates a situation. And so when we're working with it on these higher multidimensional levels, we are not uncovering all that part. That is not what the job entails. What we're wanting is the nugget. What is the nugget of what it is that has to be reconciled and healed? Okay, so in your case, my love, it is, I hate myself. And so in this soul spur, I hear, which is a new one for me, that's very interesting. So imagine it like a burr under a saddle of a horse.
Yep.
Okay, so this for you, and like I can see it, I know I'm doing something with my hand, but it's, I can see like there's this thing up there. So we're going to take that out and get that to resolve. So we're going to work on that. Right now we're working on that. And so for everybody else that may not have that specific issue, right? But we all have within our multidimensional existences somewhere where we have that secret piece of, I just hate myself. I just hate my job. I hate where I am. I hate my choices. Whatever it is, that is just going to be a reflection somewhere of a burr in your saddle. Somewhere there's going to be areas where something didn't turn out, and it will just continue to be a burr in your side, per se. So I want everybody to, again, take a deep breath and just know that whatever comes up, it's good. Let it come up. Don't stuff it back down. Don't be afraid of it. In fact, the more that you envelope what you're feeling in light, the faster you'll move through it. You'll move it out and it will be sent and transformed to the light. It's kind of just what I've been saying about this whole virus thing. The faster that we encase it in light, it can be dissolved and moved out. All of us are here as powerful beings of light. It is part of what we're here to do as a mission, is to hold the light. And so when something is disrupting the light, like in this case where it's making us feel less than, not good enough, or unstable, then we learn the lesson we need to learn from it with ease and grace, quickly and easily, and then dissolve the remnants of that lesson. We don't need it anymore. And so if all of us are doing that, we can help move things through faster. And so same with you, and I hear now that that's been released. So for you, Melissa, just know then that we're gonna again ask everybody to be filled with golden light. Every cell of your being, just breathe it in. It's manna from heaven. This is what fills you and helps you to feel complete, whole, reconnecting that heart all the way up to your crown chakra, all the way up through your higher mind, to your soul, asking for that golden light to come in and assist each person with their knowing, their clarity, and their understanding for what's in their highest good. Forgiving yourself, each and every one of us, forgiving ourselves for the parts that we have played that have caused the traumas that we have experienced. Deep breath in and out, allowing yourself the freedom of forgiveness. That's a new one. All right. Freedom from forgiveness. I like it. That might be a title here. All right. How do you feel, Melissa?
Oh, I just want to tell you that, I also want to share that exact same wording came through me right before you said that, allowing the freedom of forgiveness. I want to tell you how huge this is and how spot on you are, and that those exact words, I hate myself, have been bursting to the surface I mean, like even last night, I said that out loud to myself when I got a tick on me and I was trying to get it off and I couldn't get it and it broke off and the frustration. And I said those words. I said, oh, I hate you. I hate myself. It was like, it's so here. And way back on my 44th birthday when I had a numerology reading with the leader of the Coptics, and he said, you're here for self-forgiveness. So these are huge. These are the cores, the keys. It is the burr under my saddle, and I am so, so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart. My heart to yours, sweetie.
Oh,
Just know we're all connected and everybody's sending you love and light, and know that you are not alone. Everybody has aspects of this within us, and together right now we're moving it through for everybody. So beautiful.
Here is another specially selected healing.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gabrielle.
You're welcome.
So I've been feeling so weird. I got laid off back in March, and I was not scared at the time. I welcomed that. I was actually happy. I was like, hey, I'm going to go home and I'm going to focus on something else in my life because I wasn't happy with my job. So I saw it as an opportunity for me to do something else that I've been thinking to do for a long time. Work on my art, work on my spiritual growth, and I was quite happy for a while, but then suddenly over the past, I would say a month or more, I lost all my motivation. I lost all my guidance. I feel like I don't know what I want to do anymore. I want to do something else in my life. I want to learn something different. I start taking courses and then I cancel them. I'm feeling like walking in circles. I feel like I'm misdirected. I feel lost. I don't know what happened. And for so long and for so many years, while I was working in my full-time job, I was always hoping and wishing for this time to come where I could take the advantage and do something exciting and actually change my life. And now that I have, I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know what to do.
I think that's a very common thing. So what makes your heart sing? Is it the painting?
It's the art that makes me very happy, but at the same time, I'm so driven to help others. And I sign up for courses such as Akashic reading. I have 2 courses done on that. I did recently, now I'm doing EFT, and I want to, work with that too, but I don't feel confident enough. And I feel like, oh, maybe I'm not in the right direction. I don't know. Like I said, I'm I can't focus in one thing.
Okay.
But I would say my art right now is what makes my heart sing. Yes.
Okay. So do your art to make your heart sing. And before you go to begin doing your art, just ask for peace to fill you. It's like when I do this show, I say, I'll do this show as long as it's fun, as long as I feel like I'm providing something for people, and as long as I get to do what makes my heart sing, right? That's what makes it fun for me, is that I get to connect with people like yourself and assist in any way that I can. I love it. That's what makes me happy. It's like I get off this show and I'm like flying high. Well, it's in those moments that I get some of the best intuitive insight into my own life and into what it is that I want to do next.
Is it the
painting? Does that make sense?
So
when you're trying to figure it out, it's not by sitting there trying to write it out, pros and cons and whatever, and try to find a job.
And I sign up for courses such as Akashic reading. I have 2 courses done on that. I did
it will
recently, now I'm doing EFT, and I want to work with that too, but I don't feel confident enough.
Otherwise,
I feel like, maybe I'm not in the right direction.
Off anything
I don't know.
Because we're too
I'm
stressed
like
to
so
allow it
like
to flow to us.
I can't focus in one thing.
Okay.
But I would say my
Yes,
art
it
right
does.
now is what makes my
Right.
heart sing.
So
Yes.
we're going to
I
do,
get it. Thank
so
you.
yes,
do your
I mean,
art to make your heart
that's
sing.
the obvious part. Now we're going to do the
And
energetic
before
part.
you go to begin
Because
doing your art,
this is the piece for everybody.
just
fun part.
ask for
Yeah,
peace
I mean, well,
to fill you.
there's the logic
It's
piece,
just, it's like when I do
but then
this
there's
show,
the part where you go,
I
okay, well now
say,
energetically, what's
I'll do this
keeping me
show
from
as long as it's
finding
fun,
what it is, or
as
being
long as
open?
I feel like I'm
And
providing
so
something for
all of
people,
us,
and as
being
long as I get to
open
do what makes my
things
heart
that
sing,
aren't
right?
what our mind
That's what makes it
knows is
fun
what
for
we're
me,
trying to do
is that I get to
shift
connect with
everybody
people
into
like
that
yourself
conscious
and
place,
assist in any way that I
that
can. I
state of
love it.
consciousness
That's
where
what makes
you're
me
not
happy. It's like I get
listening
off
to your
the show
3D
and
mind,
I'm
but
like
rather
flying high.
your highest self
Well,
and your
it's
higher
in
mind
those
connection,
moments that I get
providing
some of the
best
best
go do this,
intuitive
right?
insight
I mean, I could give a
into my own
gazillion
life
examples how
and
this happens,
into
but
what it is that
for
I want to
each
do
one
next.
of us, it's
Does that make
necessary
sense?
and
So when you're trying to
important
figure
for
it out,
you
it's
Yes,
not
it
by
does.
learn
sitting
how to get
there
into that
trying to
state
write it out,
so that you don't
pros
have
and
the
cons
large
and whatever, and
gaps
try to
in
find
between the
I
job.
got good direction and then I have
For
nothing.
yourself,
Does this make sense?
the job will come to you, but
Jacqueline?
it
Yes.
will
Mhm.
happen when
It
you're
does.
not stressing
Yes, it
about
does
it.
make
And so
sense.
that's why I say
This is
do
our
what
point.
makes
All
your
right,
heart
so
sing. Because
sorry,
otherwise,
you're
as
good?
human beings,
So
we
we're
tend to
going to do
close
then
off
is we're just going
anything
to
else
close our eyes,
because we're
everybody,
too stressed
because it's just
to
it's
allow it to
about
flow
clarity,
to
but
us.
it's also
Does this
about
make
finding what
sense?
makes your heart sing. When you find what makes your heart
Yes, it
sing,
does.
then we can call
Right.
in the
So
information
we're
from
going
the
to
I get it.
universe
Thank you.
to
Yes,
allow
I mean,
that's the obvious
your
part. Now
heart,
we're going to do the
your higher
energetic
mind,
part.
and your highest consciousness.
Because this is the
direct
piece
you
for
and to
everybody,
begin
The fun
right?
part.
To direct
Yeah,
I mean,
the
well, there's the
opportunities
logic
to
piece,
come in.
but
And
then
I
there's
can
the
tell
part where you
you,
go, okay, well
Jacqueline,
now energetically, what's
you are
keeping me
correct
from
that
finding
the energy
all
what it
around
is,
you
or
is
being
swirling.
open.
And so for
it's
all
we're
of
gonna
us,
clear up the
being
clutter,
open to things that
and
aren't what our
help to
mind
release
knows
your
is what we're
mind
trying
from
to do
needing
is
to
to
figure
shift
it out.
everybody into that conscious
Because
place,
that actually
that
slows
state
the
of
process,
consciousness
if that makes
where
sense.
you're not listening
So
to
for
your 3D
everybody,
mind, but rather
we all
your
tend to get in
highest
the
self and your
same
higher mind
situation
connection,
because we're humans,
providing
and our
the
minds
go
tend
do
to
this,
want to
right?
be in control.
I mean, I could give a gazillion
and want to be able
examples
to
how this
figure it
happens,
out.
but for each one of
So
us, it's necessary and
I just saw it
important
drop.
for you.
Okay,
to
so
learn how to get
energetically,
into that state
Jacqueline, I just
so
saw
that you
all
don't
that
have the
stuff that was
large
swirling, like
gaps
as
in
if you were
between, I got good
juggling
direction and
balls
then
in
I
the
have
air.
nothing.
They all just
Does
went
this make sense?
poof down. Did you feel it release,
Yes, I did.
Jacqueline?
I did feel it. Yes. That's
Mhm.
amazing. Wow.
Good.
Yes,
All
it
right.
does make sense. Incredible.
This is our
That's-
point. All right,
okay,
the
so-
energy part. See?
Sorry.
So now you're
good?
clear. And
So
now
what
we're going to do
we're
then
just going
is
to
we're just
fill
going to
your
close our
heart
eyes
with
everybody,
light,
because it's
golden light
about
of the
clarity,
highest
but it's also
vibration.
about finding what makes your heart sing.
Just breathe that in and
When
say
you find what
yes,
makes your heart
and then
sing, then we
see
can
it
call
like a heart
in
light
the
just
information from the
beaming out
universe
around
allow
you, all around you,
your
into
heart,
your home,
your higher
into
mind,
your
and
art.
your highest consciousness.
Allow your heart to sing.
to
Oh,
direct
I
you
just
and
see
to
it now.
begin
This is
to
good.
direct
Okay.
the opportunities.
So
to
I see you.
come in.
Did you paint?
And I can tell you, Jacqueline,
What's your art?
energetically,
Paint?
you
Yeah,
are correct.
I paint and
that
I'm a
the
jewelry
energy
designer
all
as well.
around you is
Okay, good.
swirling.
So I was just
And
seeing you at the
so
easel.
we're going to clear up
So
the
when you're
clutter
painting,
and
I want you
help to
to
release your mind
use your
from
heart
needing
light to
figure it out.
infuse as you're
Because
painting, like
that
a song,
actually slows
like
the
you're
process.
painting us.
Makes
Oh, I
sense.
just got shivers.
So for everybody,
Okay.
we all
So
tend
you're
to get in
gonna
the same
paint
situation because we're humans,
harmonics
and our
into your
minds
picture
tend to want to be in
for
control
healing for people.
and want
Okay.
to be able to
Wow.
figure it out.
And my suggestion, they just showed me
So-
the next piece is
I
like
just
let's
saw
say
it
I
drop.
said to you,
Okay,
Jacqueline,
so
I really want
energetically,
you to paint me a
Jacqueline, I just
picture.
saw all that stuff
We're
that
gonna
was
say,
swirling,
okay,
like as if you
Gabrielle,
were
send me a picture of yourself.
juggling balls in the air.
And
They all just
it's
went
not that
poof,
you're painting it of
down.
that person.
Did you feel it
But
release?
it's almost like
Yes, I
weaving
did.
the harmonics into
I did
their
feel it.
energetic field as you paint the
That's
painting for
amazing.
them.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow. Incredible. Wow.
That's the energy
See,
part.
now do you
See?
feel
So
excited?
now you're
I'm
clear,
very excited.
and now we're
I'm
just going to fill your heart
Wow.
with light.
Ta-da!
Golden light
All
of the
right,
highest
you got
vibration.
your papers, lady. Just
Get
breathe out and
busy.
say
That
yes.
sounds like
and then
so
see
much
it
fun
like a heart
and
light just beaming
really
out
beautiful.
around
So
you, all
I
around you,
appreciate you
into
coming
your
on.
home, into
Oh,
your
thank
art.
you.
And if you
Allow
enjoyed
your
what we
heart to
did
sing.
here
Oh,
today,
I just see
I
it
am
now. This
starting
is
in
good.
Soul
Okay.
Awakenings
So,
Inner Circle to
I see
talk
you.
about
Do you
and
paint?
continue this work to move
What's
us
your
through
art?
all 4
Paint?
phases
Yeah, I paint,
of your
and I'm a
soul's
jewelry
awakening,
designer
of
as
your
well.
awakening
Okay,
to your
good.
connection to
So
your
I was just
soul.
seeing you at the
And
easel.
this
So
inner
when you're
circle will begin
painting,
in June, the
I
first
want
Saturday
you
of June.
to use your heart
It's just
light to
ongoing, so you can
infuse
join
as
or
you're
leave at any
painting, like a
time.
song, like
And
you're
that
painting
is
us. Oh, I just got shivers.
GabrielleSpencer.com
Okay, so you're gonna
//
paint
soul awakening
harmonics into
Okay.
your picture
Does anyone have
for healing
questions
for
or
people.
comments or
Okay.
Wow.
anything you
And
would
my
like to do
suggestion, they just showed
the
me the
Soul
next
Awakenings
piece
is doing here today, where
like,
we're
let's
talking
say
and
I said to
providing
you,
guidance,
Jacqueline, I
and
really want
it's
you to
very
paint me a
affordable
picture.
because we want to
You're
just
gonna
keep
say,
moving
okay,
everybody
Gabrielle,
along.
send me a picture
This
of
is a critical
yourself.
time where
And
all of us
it's not that
know
you're
it's a
painting
critical
it of
time.
that
We all know
person,
we're
but
shifting.
it's
We all
almost
know
like
there are things
weaving
we're
the
meant to do.
harmonics into
And a
their
lot of us
energetic
are
field as you paint the
unable
painting
to
for
move
them.
into
Wow,
what it is we're
that's
supposed to do
awesome.
because we
Wow.
are blocked,
Wow.
but on a higher
See, now do you
soul
feel
level
excited?
versus,
I'm very
just what I
excited.
think happened to me
I'm
when I was a
excited.
child.
Wow.
And I
Ta-da!
believe
All right,
that
you got
as
your
we
papers,
provide
lady.
this type
Get
of a
busy.
forum,
That
we're
sounds
able to
like
help
so
more
much
of you
fun and
faster.
just
This is the goal.
really
We have to
beautiful.
move
So,
fast. The faster that we
appreciate
move and
you
get
coming on.
everybody to a higher
thank
vibration of
you.
light, the faster we can move through these difficult periods, because the dark side will not have derailed us. It will not keep us thinking, oh, it's going to be okay, or oh, it's meaning this or that, or I'm supposed to just sit around on my sidelines waiting for something to happen. It's about always being in alignment with the light, so we know what it is we're being called to do. We are all here at this time for our role, whether you are a warrior light, which frankly, we all are warriors of light. We all are here to assist humanity and the planet to transform and to move into higher dimension. So that means that as light, masters of light, beings of light, we are meant to fill in where light is needed. So that means more of us, the more of us that move into that third phase of heart and soul illumination, then we're able to tip ourselves hopefully faster into that 4D and higher existence. And so we can leave or transform this morass that is happening right now, because we need that critical mass. So this Soul Awakenings Inner Circle, you can get to it at GabrielleSpencer.com /Soul Awakenings. It is 2 times a month, and it will assist you to do more healing and work as a group and a community, and to build our inner circle of warriors and masters of light. That is what is needed, is what we're called to do, and it will help each and every one of us to move through faster. Okay, everyone, I love you, and I just so appreciate you allowing me to assist you and to be here as love and light. I love it. I enjoy being with you. Thank you for being here. You all have a wonderful evening.